Here are the clamps that hold the table tight, and these are hardened, but I've got them polished up. I'm trying to clean up everything as I go. You know, as I get to it, I want to clean it up and polish it. So I hit these on my Scotch-Brite wheel in there on the grinder. Same thing with the hex nuts and the washers too. Even these washers, I've noticed numbers on every single thing on this machine, and even these washers have the part number on it, 20137. So we got everything blown off there and cleaned, and we're going to go ahead and drop one down. We'll put a washer there, and then this one's going to get a washer here since the stud come off. We'll just snug them up. Gonna try to get this straightened up here. This little dented area looks like something landed on it and hit it and bent it. Polished up the two end wiper holders as well. They go right here. I took the screws that were still good and just got them cleaned up, wire brushed the crud off of them, and then you gave them a quick polish. And to get this back together today, I'm going to use these, and then I've got a few of these socket head bolts here that will take the place of the ones that were bad. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an order today for McMaster Car to get all new screws here for these. We'll get a bunch of these to replace. I'm going to order new felt. This is 1/4 by 5/8 felt strip, so I'll order a bunch of that. And we're also I'm going to buy some more screws for these screws here I'm going to take one of those out and measure the length of those. I'm going to get new screws for there. I'm going to check these screw links to here for these way wipers. It should be the same on the side. And just take a little inventory and just go ahead and get them all at one time and replace all the screws once I get them all in. I got all the felts soaked with WD-40. That's going to be the right way there. There she is, all back together. I've been squirting more WD-40 up in there on the wipers. So here's the little brass pointer that sets your 0 mark on your angle. Got that polished up. I had a little scare with the screw, man. I was over there polishing it and it flung it out of my fingers and I thought it was gone forever. I started looking around for it. Kind of gave up on it, you know. It was kind of like looking around like, oh man, I'm just gonna have to like buy another one, I guess. And then I just look over and there it sits. I really like the way these way wipers look polished up, and I plan on keeping them like that just to kind of add some really nice metal contrast to the machine. I got the clamps loose. That's how it's supposed to work. All right, so we got the vise sitting over here on a piece of wood. I'm going to get it picked up and I'm going to clean the bottom of it really well and clean the washers because they're still on it. And then we're going to get it mounted back up over here. This is the table support that bolts to the front of the table, and it helps support it, you know, add rigidity to it, just rest here on the machine face. And I'm cleaning this up now to, you know, make it look good just like the rest of it. And this surface here is pretty well abused. You know, a lot of chips probably get pulled up into this face. This is the bolt and the washer that goes through it, and it just, you tighten this up once you get your table set, and this helps support the front of the table. So I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive on this clean. And I'm going to use these Norton Blaze wheels here. It's like a deburring wheel, but it deburrs and polishes. But you have to be careful with these because they will cut, they will remove metal. But if you use it light, it'll actually clean that, and you can deburr the high spots on it, and also remove the, you know, the extra paint, stuff like that. Don't forget your earplugs because them grinders are loud. That paint right there. It also looks to me like this has kind of been a hammered face here over the years. You know, people probably raising the table up, forgetting to loosen this bolt and then hit it with the hammer to drop it down. All right, we got that one cleaned up, and I'm going to do this side. See, it's just as bad and nasty. Okay, we got that one cleaned up there too. So this works fine on something like that. Now, I would not recommend using this on something like the actual machine table. On a real precision fit, because like I said, this will cut metal. You just want to use it to kind of polish and lightly deburr something that's not so critical. Or you could use it over here on the paint too, you know, to remove paint. It works good for that too. That's it right there. So once you get your table set where you want to make your cut, you tighten that up and it'll support against the base of the machine there. Okay, so here's the vise. Thought I'd give you a good peek at it as well since I've showed you the other parts. There's a look at underneath what a shaper vise looks like. Now this is kind of standard for shaper vices. The 4 nuts that hold the vise down and tight, once you loosen those, it actually swivels in there. Interesting fact that they did. Now I don't know if it was factory or if this is aftermarket mod, but it's got brass washers up in there, which that might be a factory option there, because this is a point right here that you loosen and tighten quite often whenever this is a machine that's being put in use. So I'll clean these up and reuse them, and we're going to Scotch-Brite the bottom of that real good, clean it real good, and then we'll put it back on the table. I'm going to give it one last wipe, make sure there's no dust that's stuck to it. Let me show you the washers. Each of the 4 locations where the nut goes, I took the washers off, and they're brass washers, and you can tell they're in pretty rough shape. But they're doing their job and they're protecting the vise though. So what I did is I took some measurements down of this, and I'm going to remake these, but for now I'm going to put them on there so we can get this thing going. But I am going to replace these. Now, I don't know if I had mentioned it, there is a hole right here. That's a pin that's actually in the bottom of the vise here, and that's a locating pin, and I believe it's to keep the vise from actually being able to be pushed off of this table even if the nuts were loose there. There's one on the flat side of the table as well. Bit tricky. Got that one. I think we're about to have that one. Yeah, there we go. What we'll do is just lower it down until it seats into that locating hole there. Right there. I'm going to put them on there in the same place that they were, because they're just kind of conformed to the base of the vise there. Oh, and by the way, I polish these up too. I'm polishing up any bare metal thing that I can. Okay, we are just about ready to start trimming. I'll go ahead and kind of snug them up there, and then we're going to do our parallel in the bottom of the vise and tram in the top of the parallel, and then we'll tram in this jaw of the vise as well to get it 90 degrees. It's only a day and a half late. We can start getting this thing trammed in now. I think we finally got it going our way. So let's not forget that we're going to have to tram this table both directions. Right now I want to get it level on the tilt, but we're going to have to rotate this around and go side to side so that we can get our rotation correct as well, since we rotated the table around. Well, let's go ahead and do this first. I've got it preset here. It takes a few minutes to get that going. I was just eyeballed on the graduations over here, so let's see, what is that, about 24 thousandths maybe? Not quite touching the 0 line. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, here's the reader right here, and you can see I'm just right at the 0 line. We got a little bit more to go. So I'm going to put the crank right there, and we're going to get it trammed in. I'm going to do some adjusting right here as it's moving. Real close. Maybe a thou. Oh, I tell you what I need to do. I need to go ahead and lock the knee gibs over here. I want to make sure that's sucked up against the ways. Still about a thou. Looking pretty good right there. Looks like it's got maybe a little movement during the stroke. Probably movement in the way gib right here, but it looks like if you go from end to end, it's pretty well even on that indicator. It's about -2 is -2. That looks like -1, so I'm going to call that square right there. That's within 1 to 2 tenths, I believe. Went ahead and swiveled the vise, reset the indicator here. Pretty good ways off there. About the same amount we were before. That's going to be these 4 nuts here. I don't have them very tight. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think we can move it fine there. And then we'll use this worm gear down here. I'm just checking the, okay, that's going to be the right direction, pushing it. Gradually adjusting it as it's coming across. Well, it ain't much now. Half a thousandths. That's going to get a little tricky. seems to be as close as I can get it. That way is, I'd say, within 2/10. I think maybe closer than that, but got a little bit of wear in the machine, I believe. I think things are moving around, and it's very possible that this parallel may be out a tenth or so. I don't know. You can see the slack in it whenever I gauge the rapid, but it's basically zero right there. And it's going to move about 2/10. And then once you let go, it settles on -1/10. So calling that square. Gonna lock it down. All right, now we just want to get our vise 90 degrees. See how close it is. I got that line right on 90 down here. Hey, 10 thousandths, huh? All right, so I'm going to use a rawhide and bump the end of the vise here. All right, there we go. Our first test cuts are going to be on this block of mild steel here, which is going to end up being this cam plate, one of the parts that I'm missing off the G&E. So if you measure the thickness here, we're just under 2 inches, so that's actually 1 15/16 right there, and this is 2.5 inches. So I've got a good 1/2 inch of metal that I can play with, practice with on the machine on this right here, and then we have a little bit off the width this way that we can go as well. But this 1/2 inch will give me some good material that I can play with and see how the machine cuts. I think we're ready to make our very first cut, guys. I'm excited about this. So I got everything locked the way it should be. I'm going to touch off with the compound up here, and we'll start off kind of conservative on our strokes per minute, and I'll get into a little bit more detail about how I'm going to be setting the proper strokes per minute for the material and the length of cut there. I'm going to drop it down a little bit light, and then we'll kind of see how everything's reacting. We'll start off with a light cut. I'm going to start with 1/16 deep, 60 thousandths, and maybe a 20 thousandths feed rate over this way. So let's give it a try. Bring it down real close. Alright, that should be our 0 set. Alright, feed rate set. Got that locked, table's locked. Let's try it. Alright, let me go ahead and get a little bit of cutting oil on it. Let's do it. This is a 40,000th step over. That's double what we first started with. Nothing to it. We're gonna make one more test cut. So I doubled the depth and we're down to 1/8 deep this time. I backed off on the feed to 20,000th step over. Let's see how it does. The machine feels really solid. It just feels nice and smooth. All you can feel is whatever slack is in the gear train whenever it finally touches the part there. Very nice. $30,000 step over. We're gonna watch it finish that out. So that total depth there will be 3/16, so about 190 thousandths. It's flinging them. Machine's handling it just fine, but the tool isn't doing as good as I was hoping. I'm going to need to play around with the angles on that grind there. There it is. What do you guys think? We got a shaper? You bet we got a shaper, and we got one that's making chips finally. I'm really excited to get to this point. It's been all weekend trying to get this thing ready to cut, and I feel good about the progress that I made on it. And it's been great getting into it and kind of discovering how the machine was built and put together and how everything works. So really excited to get to this point, but we're not done yet. We still got plenty to do. I want to get all this cleaned up here and make it look more cleaned and pretty like the rest of it down here that I've done. And we still got some wiper work to get into. So I'm just happy that we can start making chips. So that's going to be the next step, is start getting some material cut in and playing around with tool grinds. And I've been reading my books and trying to learn a little bit more about the ways of the shaper. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for following along, and thank you guys for all the support that you've given me. And it's not done yet. We've still got a lot of videos to come. I'm excited about this, and it's a machine that I'm excited to have, and finally I have in my hands and learn how to operate it. Okay, so we'll bring you back soon.